Hello everybody, it's Gemma here from madebygemacrafts.co.uk. Thank you for joining me again today. Now I know I've been a bit quiet recently and I haven't had any recent video tutorials. So today I am going to make a card and I'm going to show you a watercolouring technique which I've used to make a card for my mum on Mother's Day. Now Mother's Day in the UK was in March, but I think in US and Canada it's coming up. So here's a little idea for you if you want to make a nice card for your mother or your mother-in-law, whoever. I am going to use today the Garden in Bloom stamp set, and this is photopolymer. So we've got clear stamps. As you can see, mine is a very well used set. I love this stamp set. It works so well for so many different things. And I have also got an aqua painter pen, which you have got a chamber here, which I'll carefully unscrew this because there is water in it. You unscrew this part here, pop some water in it and screw it back in, and then the lid, you see you've got a brush on the end there, so we're going to be using that. I've got obviously our ink we're going to be using. I've got Calypso Coral, Pear Pizzazz, some Early Espresso and So Saffron. They're my four colours I'm going to use today. Now when I was going through my craft cupboard of doom, I found lots of card blanks in there, so I've just pulled one out. I'm going to use one of these today. And this is roughly 6 by 6, this one. So my pieces of card that I've got, I'm going to use some Calypso Coral to map this on. So this piece measures 5 5/8 by 5 5/8. That's going to go on our card here. Then I've got a piece of watercolour card that we're going to do our stamping and watercolouring on. And that's going to sit on top of there, and that measures 5 3/8 of an inch by 5 3/8 of an inch. And then I've got a small piece that we're going to pop across the front of our card as well. And our little piece of watercolour card is 1 3/4 by 5 3/8, and our Calypso Coral is 2 inches by 5 5/8 again. So don't worry about trying to remember all the measurements. As always, they will be on my blog, and there will be a link to my blog in the description box below. Now, I have cut out a oval using the Stitch Frame Knits oval die. This is the second size up, and I have cut this out in Whisper White because it will be easier to stamp our sentiment on there rather than trying to stamp it on the watercolour card. So if I pop these out of the way, and I don't have a finished sample to show you because I don't, and we're going to wing it, and we're just going to make a card together, which is great. So we're going to start with our big piece of watercolour card, and I'm going to take my stamp and use the big flower one. It just about fits on my block if I turn it round. Just going to push that on. I'm going to get my Calypso Coral, and I'm just going to stamp this around randomly. So what we're going to do is create like a random patterned background, but we're going to watercolour it as well. So I'm just going to give your stamp a good ink up, and then just randomly stamp down where you'd like your flowers. Like so. I think I've got room for a little bit more up here. Stamp off the page, always gives you a lovely effect. There we go. So that's that one. Now, as I'm going, I am going to be cleaning my stamps as well, using my stamping scrub, which I've spoken to you about in previous videos, so I won't bore you with that now. So we've got our flower. I'm going to get my butterfly as well. And I think I have a little Pear Pizzazz butterfly, I think. So we're just going to randomly drop that one down as well, like that. There we go, I think that's enough. There we go. And we've also got our little bee as well, which is super cute. So I'm going to use my early espresso to stamp my little bee. Just put a couple of those down. One there. Pop one over there as well. I think we might just need one more butterfly on there. I think maybe, let's go for a coral one. I'll just pop that there in the middle like that. So that is our bigger piece. So I'm just going to push that over. Now I'm going to stamp our smaller piece. So I think I'll use the smaller flower. Let's use coral as well. I'm just going to dot a few of these about. Up there like so. And let's go for another butterfly. Purple as well. Let's have a so saffron one this time. It's all going to coordinate together because these colours look gorgeous together, I think. Oh, down you go, you're getting stuck. It's because I'm rushing. Right, there we go. I'll pop a wing of a butterfly over there. And I think that will do because we're going to cut for a little bit of that up. Okay. Right, so let's close our ink up. Actually, we can stamp our sentiment while we've got our ink out. So I'm going to stamp that in early espresso. So I'm just going to bring in my little oval that I've already cut out. It's completely up to you, whatever way you want to cut. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that little interruption. So as I was saying, we're now going to stamp our sentiment on the oval that we've cut out with our stitched framelit set. I'm going to use Hope You're Feeling Special today. So I'm just going to ink that up. Push down. And pop that on my oval. There we go. So there's that stamped as well now. A quick clean. And there we go. Right, we're done with our stamping now. So we can close our ink. There we go. We can just pop our sentiment over to one side out of the way. Now, if we're going to bring in our main piece of watercolour card, now what we're going to do is I'm going to use my aqua painter to go around and give the background a watercolour effect. So I have got some kitchen towel here because you don't want to have your aqua painter too wet, otherwise it's going to bleed all over the place and might end up looking a little bit messy. So all I'm going to do is I've got my aqua painter and I'm just going to go around the edges and pick up the colour as I go around and fill in the flowers like so. I'm just going to repeat that all over my card. Now I'm not going to fill in the middle of my flowers for now because I'm going to put in some So Saffron yellow colour for the inside of my flowers. So you can just go, you can take a little bit more care when you're doing yours. Obviously I'm trying to be as quick as I can because I don't want to spend the whole tutorial colouring in. Now when I'm doing this as well, I stick to the same colour one at a time. So I'll go around and do all my coral elements and so on. And when it comes to our little bees, I'm going to do something a little different on there. So you see now as that's drying, you're getting quite a watercolour effect on your stamping, which is quite nice. So just do our little piece as well that's got some coral stamped on it as well. Round we go. So that's that, and then I'm just going to dry off the coral colour on the end of my aqua painter, and then I can go around and we can do our butterflies. Because the nice thing about the Stampin'Up ink is that it's water based, so you can come in after it's been stamped and still pick up the colour around and give you the effect. Right, so let's just do my little... It's a bit dry, just give it a little squeeze. Just be careful not to get too much. And I think you see this effect more as it dries. There we go. So as I said, I was going to pick up some of the So Saffron ink to do the inside of my flowers and also on my bee. Now you have to be quite careful when you're doing the bee, because obviously you can get bleeding from the early espresso ink. So all I do is I give my stamp ink pad a squeeze when it's closed, and then I open it up again, and as you can see I've now got some ink transferred over onto the case. So I'm just going to take my aqua painter and pick some of this stronger colour up. Just add a little more water, or less, dry off a little. There we go. So I've got some picked up, and I'm just going to pop that in the middle of my flowers, like so. Do little dabs on these ones, and now I'm going to do the same on my bees, but as I said, you need to be quite careful, so maybe just follow the little lines that you've got little spaces in. Now for my wings, I'm going to do something a little different as well. There we go. So we're all done with our aqua painter. Now I've got here the clear Wink of Stella brush. I'm going to use that to put a little bit of sparkle into the wings of my bees. Now this works in a similar way to the aqua painter. You squeeze gently and it brings up some of the clear sparkly fluid to the end of your aqua paint Wink of Stella brush, and you can just carefully pop in a little bit of sparkle on the wings of your bees, like so. I mean, this might be quite hard for you to see. I don't know if I can pick this up and give it a tilt. You can see it's got a really lovely subtle shimmer on it, and we can put a little bit on our yellow butterfly wings over here. So if you don't have Stampin'Up inks, it's not a problem. You can use any water-based ink, and remember it has to be water-based ink for your aqua painter to be able to pick it up and move it around the watercolour paper. I would be quite careful about doing this on regular Whisper White, because it can make it go a bit blobby and a bit funny as well. So if you're going to try the watercolouring technique, it's always a good idea to have some watercolour paper, which Stampin'Up do sell as well. And as always, I'll put a full list of everything I used on the bottom of my blog for you. So that is now our backgrounds done. So now we can put our card together. So I've got here a piece of the Calypso Coral Ombre ribbon. Now this bit comes from the Cupcakes and Carousels embellishment pack, but sneak peek alert, this is going to be in the new annual catalogue, which is going to be available on the 1st of June. Along with this colour, there's a couple of other colours. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head, but the ombre is staying, which is lovely. Really, really pretty ribbon. So I'm going to put some of this over my small piece of card. So I'm just going to use a couple of glue dots on either end just to attach my ribbon on. There we go. So I'm just going to make sure I've got it going around the right way as well. That helps. So I'm just going to pop that round there. And make sure it's straight. There we go. So that's our piece there. Excuse me, I'm a bit hoarse this morning. I'm just going to use good old Tombow to put it onto my piece of Calypso Coral. I'm just going to map that on there. So that's our piece on there like so. And then we can take our bigger bit and mount that on our other piece of Calypso Coral. Go in the glue. By using glue, it gives us a good few seconds to make sure we're all straight and nice. Little bit of wiggle room. There we go. And obviously this is a little wet still, so just be careful and make sure your card has dried off before you start assembling it. So now I'm just going to pop this one onto my card blank. I'm throwing glue everywhere. There we go. Make sure I'm around the right way. Just going to pop that on here. Now, as I said to you, this card blank is roughly 6 by 6. It's just out of a huge stack that I've got in my craft cupboard. I'd like to use some up, so there we go. So there's our first layer on. Now I'm going to pop this one across the middle of our card, about there, like so. Then I'm going to use some dimensionals on the back of my sentiment. Let's put one more on there. I'm just going to pop that over to one side like that. Then I've got another piece, I've got the rest of my piece of coral ribbon, so I'm just going to tie a quick bow to pop on as well. Now I will show you quickly my bow tying technique. So I take the loose end in my fingers, my hand like so, and then I wrap this free end around and over like that. Then this end here I put between my two fingers. Ooh, a bit of a long bit. And I bring this over and I feed that back through there to tie my bow, and then I can pull that tight, slide it off my fingers, and there we go, we've got a bow tied. So you can adjust the size of it. You pull that side, and then that one, and little tug on there just to tighten it back up. Then I shall trim it off, and then just trim the other side to match, like so. And then I can get a glue dot on the back of my bow and pop it onto my card on there. So there we go, we have our finished card. So that's quite a nice, simple, easy technique to use to make backgrounds on your card. And the Gardening Bloom stamp set lends itself really well to making backgrounds. And there we go, there's our finished card with a little bit of sparkle from our Wink of Stella clear brush as well. So there we go. As I said, all the measurements and everything I used today will be on my blog, and I will put the link to that in the description box below. I shall also put in the link so you can go and shop with me now as well. And another little sneak peek, I have got a Eastern Palace Suite card class which will be available now, and you can qualify for that class if you purchase either of the bundles through me and my store, and I will have a few little sneak peek videos on that very, very soon. So thank you for watching today, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks, bye.